One Love Lottery is a new exciting weekly lottery established to help raise funds for our young people aged 17 to 25 and to generate community wealth in the UK. By playing One Love Lottery for just £1 per ticket, you also stand a chance of winning some amazing prizes, including our jackpot of £25,000 each week. Tickets are available from onelovelottery.co.uk or call 0208 183 1832 for more information. Draws are made every Saturday and you can play as many times as you like. Players must be 16 or over and reside in the UK. Please support One Love Lottery today. United we stand, divided we fall. One love.
You ready? You got me running, got me running. Shake it, shake it, shake it, baby. Raise your hands up. Raise them up.
Good evening, and welcome to the After Dark Show. This is your girl Yvonne Michelle. I'm here as your host, as always, and today is no different. How are you doing, my lovelies? How have you been? I'm going to keep my phone in my hand, not because I'm being unprofessional, but because today's a little bit of a different show. So first of all, at the end of last week, I said that we would have Des O'Connor on tonight, and we've changed a few things around, and Des is going to be on next week's show. So this week's show is, by popular demand, Red Letter Tuesday. Yes, it is back. Red Letter Tuesday is back. Yes, it is. Why is it back? Because we've had loads of letters in the break. When we took the 6 weeks break, loads of letters came in, and you know, I've had calls and people are asking me, when are you bringing it back? So by popular demand, we are doing that today, and we have 2 letters to read out today. But before I even get started there, I just want to remind you that on Thursday, that's this Thursday, I have the Speak Easy Masterclass. Now, I help people to speak. I help people to create stories that will help them to create an income. And so on Thursday at 2 p.m. British Standard Time, I will be doing a Speak Easy Masterclass. And people keep asking me, is that just for business people? And I keep saying it is not. It's for you if you have a story. If you want to speak for good, if you've got a story that you want to tell people in this world, it is for you. I'll help you to compile this story and make it a magnetic message, which will give you some money. Okay? So that's what that is. That's the first thing. And the second thing, the retreat. Now, details will be out this week. I am not a technical person, but there's some technical stuff that needed to be put in place before we send out the details. So keep an eye out, look out for that. We've got some great speakers lined up. I've just confirmed our 3rd speaker, and there'll be a few others. So that's 2 days of information regarding relationships. Whether you are in a relationship or whether you are not in a relationship, there's going to be so much information there. And also, it's a beautiful venue. It's at the Whitterbury Hall Spa and Golf Resort, and it's beautiful. And so you will have, if you decide to stay, come and stay at the hotel, you will have access to all of those amenities, and you will have a fantastic time. If you're just coming for the workshops, then you're still going to get an amazing time, which is going to be worth your money. Okay, so now that I've got those things out the way, I am going to bring in some lovely people. I'm going to bring in my lovely panel members. They haven't been on for a while, and so you're going to see some familiar faces. So without further ado, I'm going to bring them in to the room. Come on in. Good evening, Kels. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm ready.
Yeah. You're ready. Listen, it's so good to see you. So good to see you. So thanks for joining us today. You ready?
It's been a hot minute, Evie.
We're going quick. We want quick answers. We want quick feedback. So it's going to be a good night.
Let's do
You're
it.
ready. You're ready. You're ready. You're ready. Fantastic. So who else do we have in the green room? Hey, Sheena, how you doing?
Hey. Well, it's been a long time, hasn't it? It's been a while. It's been a minute.
It has been a
Yeah.
minute. Good to see you, darling. Good to see you.
See you too.
Who else have we got in the green room? Hey. We've got Michelle.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
Oh, very well. How
Hello,
are you,
my darling.
Hello. Good evening, everybody. Long time to see.
It's been a hot minute. And who else have we got? Have we got anyone else in the green room? Hey, Mr. Tony Cox, how you doing?
Yes, brother T. Long time.
So I want to welcome all of those who are on Facebook. I want to welcome those who are on YouTube. Good evening. Those of you who are on streaming from MediaNet Live TV, good evening. Let me make mention of the platforms that we are on tonight. So I'm going to jump straight into, I'm not going to jump straight into the letters, but what I am going to ask you, because I now that things are supposedly opening up, it's going to be staggered. It's going to take a little bit of time, I suppose, for people to get the confidence to go out again and do what they do. But one question that I wanted to pose to the panel before we even go into the red letters, now that we are opening up as singletons, what I want to ask you is, what do you think the impact will be on those who are not vaccinated and those who are? Do you think it will make any difference to the dating game at all? And I use the word game very loosely, but do you think it will make a difference? I could try and talk to you. What do you reckon? Kellion's nodding. Kels, come in, man. You're saying, you're nodding. What's in your mind?
Well, I have found people have gravitated towards me because I just made it very clear I'm not taking the vaccine. And they're like, yes, I'm in the same mind as you. And you just then get talking. And I actually have it on it where it says, I've not been vaccinated. So it does. And then some people I've heard are adamant about not taking it. And if you have taken it, they don't want to talk to you. I have heard that.
Right. So if you met a young lady, and I'll probably ask everyone the same question. If you met a young lady now and she said she had been vaccinated, would that stop you from dating her?
No, that's up to her. That's somebody that wants to take a flu jab. If you want to take it, fine, take it.
Okay, thank you for that. Anyone else? Come on, jump in, guys, jump in. Mr. Cox, come on, let me ask you, because I know you always got something to say. So,
I mean, I'm exactly the same as Kels. It's not my business. You do what you do what your body with your body what you want to do. If you want to pump it with, if I wouldn't want to get with somebody who was taking hard drugs, what I consider to be hard drugs like cocaine and heroin and them things. But if you want to put them something's in yourself, it's your decision.
Okay. Can we get some more volume on you, Tony?
Sorry?
Can we get? Yeah, you're quite low. Is anyone else feeling that Tony's low? Could get a little bit of volume. I always like to do this before we really get into conversation. Yeah. So you're saying that you're
better? That should be better.
Keep talking.
Yeah.
Keep talking.
That better?
Yeah. Sounds a little bit better.
Okay.
Okay, Sheena, someone who is in a relationship, right? But what do you think? Do you think it's going to have a big impact on the dating scene? I want to know. And those of you who are listening in on Facebook, those of you who are on YouTube, let us know on the chat what you think. Is this going to have a direct impact on dating? Do you think it will do?
Well, it's going to be down to the individual, isn't it? So that's a hard one because everyone's got different views on being vaccinated. I suppose if somebody was vaccinated and they're single and they're like looking for someone, then they may ask the question if that person's vaccinated, but would it have an impact on them, or would it make them lose interest in that person? You don't know. Because to me, it will still come down and boil down to the connection between you.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
That's a fair assessment.
Yeah.
Okay, Michelle, what do you think?
I think it's quite a tough one. For me, I think it speaks to the person's ideology, their individualism. So I think if you think more about yourself than you think about others, to me, it speaks to whether or not you would take the vaccine. Because I think, throughout our lives, we take a lot of vaccines for various things. And most of the time, we don't really question what's in it until now. So for me, I've been vaccinated. I'm double vaccinated. I'm old enough to be double vaccinated. So, and I do so because of my work. It's the risk that I face. So if I were to meet someone that was adamant about not being vaccinated, I'd really, really need to know why. Because it's not, for me, it's not just about me, it's about other people as well. So yeah, I don't know how far I would go down that route, depending on what that person's reasoning for not being vaccinated was.
Okay, it's very different views, but yeah, interesting. Reason why I ask is because on a lot of dating sites at the moment, there is like this question, and there is a conversation going on a lot, and I've had quite a few people ask me, have I noticed that on the dating sites? I haven't really been on, to be fair, in that respect, but what I'm hearing from the singletons that I speak to is like, yeah, it's a thing, and it's becoming more and more of a thing where people who have been vaccinated don't want to date people who haven't, and vice versa. So this is why I thought I'd just throw the question out to you guys right about now and see, what our listeners, our viewers are thinking about that. Because I mean, it is the vaccine. Having the vaccine and not having the vaccine is a conversation all by itself. But then there's an element of, but will it affect dating? And for those of us who are of a certain age and are finding it difficult to date without the added pressure of being vaccinated or not, is this going to add another hurdle to finding love at this age? And that's why I brought the question up, because I just want us to kind of like think about it a bit more and expand our mind and think about, because we know that dating isn't as easy now as what it used to be when we were younger. I think, well, that's my perception. Let me not talk for the masses. That's my perception and talking to people who are single. They've found it more difficult to find a partner in their latter age than what they did when they were younger. And I'm just going to ask you, do you, bar Sheena, do you think, I mean, Sheena, you've got friends, so you would know that. Do you think that's a fair enough assessment to say that it is harder to find a partner at this stage of life than what it was when we were younger?
Yeah, I mean, I do know quite a few singletons, and they have actually said how difficult it is to find a partner. Some of them want maybe say a Usain Bolt body. Just saying, I'm not saying just let's work with me. They might want a Usain Bolt body, but they might want, say, a Dwayne Johnson's head on, or Dwayne Johnson's body and, I don't know, someone else's face on top. Yeah, something like that. So you can't be too picky, is what I've said to them. But still try and see who's out there who connects with you, and vice versa. But they haven't actually been lucky in love at the moment. So, and I do, and I don't know. They just, one in particular, I know she's very, oh no, I don't like his ass, or I don't, I haven't got time to be worrying about a man's ass. It's about what's in the contents of his heart. So you still got women, big women, still thinking like they haven't passed 20. They're still on that level. So to me, it's what's in the man's heart. you will grow to love, and everything will become beautiful inside and out as time goes on. But what is the contents of the man's heart? You've got to work with that.
I hear that. I agree with you with that one, Sheena. And I just want to say, just so I can get it out of my head, because I'm going to go around everybody, just so I can get out of my head that I think that sometimes as single people, older single people, sometimes we get it a little bit twisted, and in terms of our expectations when we are done. And I think sometimes we still think that we are of those younger ages and things still run that way when it doesn't. And I think as you start to have more and more relationships and start to speak to more and more people, you start to understand that life isn't as it was when we were 20. Our bodies are not the same. So the expectation to want a Dwayne Johnson or a this person, the expectation is that that's a Hollywood movie star and he's got X amount and X amount and X amount of things accessible to him. It may not be realistic in the world that we live in. So I'm just saying. So I'm going to come to Tony. And I'm just going to ask you the same question. Do you think that it's harder dating now than what it was when you were in your 20s and 30s?
Yeah, it's a lot harder. Very much so. I mean, you just don't have the avenues to meet women like you used to do. You know, it was very common to go out, be social. And in that social environment, you'd meet a whole lot of people. Those days are well gone. You know, clubs still exist, but if you look at the actual physical number of clubs that exist compared to in the old days, it's a fraction. It's a fraction of the number of clubs. I know for a fact that, you know, pretty much every club I ever went to when I was younger has closed down with the exception of what? Nations?
All Nations has gone as well, hasn't it?
Yes.
That's gone a long time.
As well?
Yeah, that got a long time. Yeah, I used to go to Nations as well. All of those, yeah, they were gone.
So yeah, I thought that was still the one that was holding firm, but yeah, goes to show.
Yeah. Well, okay. Thank you for that, Tony. Kellyanne, what is it harder or is it easier or is it indifferent dating?
Well, now you're kind of close to doing apps. Like to stop a young lady on the road and have a conversation with her is almost like taboo. It's almost like
abuse.
Yeah, abuse. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Abuse. You know. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like the app is the way forward now. Really, unless you meet in institutions, like at uni or library or something like that. You know, you get talking and then, you know, exchange numbers. Possibly, you know, I mean, I'm more into soca now. So, you know, you can go to those parties and start talking to people and you may exchange numbers. But a lot of it now is apps. It's you know, is the app you're on, and you get talking. Can be seen as being a bit safer as well, and you can decide to meet up and take it from there. But as what Tony was saying before, you know, it was a great time. I think it just felt a bit lighter, people a bit more jolly. You know, it's just different times. I feel really sorry for the young people now, but I mean, but they have their own little way of how they communicate and how they do things through their technology, and they are going out. I've been hearing them going out, and the guys having a hard time because of the expectations of the women or the young ladies. So yeah. But yeah, it's definitely changed, definitely.
Okay, thank you for that. Thank you for that, Tony. You started saying people like, wow, Nations. It's been gone a really long time. Oh dear. Yeah, Nations, man. It was, yeah, it had its place. Michelle.
I think it is probably harder now, yes, because we're older and the pool of availability is smaller. So it's harder in that regard. I don't think that at this ripe old age, I really want to be necessarily meeting anyone in a club or necessarily one in soca. So I think I'd be looking for people that are in different places. If things were open, I would definitely. I'm not looking to meet anyone in a club at all. And for me, in my 20s, I was in steady long-term relationships. In my 30s, I was in a marriage. So, you know, I can't really speak too much about dating then, but I think that in terms of how things are now, I do think that people are a little bit more scared to speak to other people. And I think that for me as a woman, when a man speaks to me and is polite and says hello or what have you, I think it's really nice, and I will always return it with a pleasantry and respect. And I think that's important. And that you never know, you might bump into the person again. It doesn't mean that they're doing it in a non-platonic way. They could be just being respectful, but that's a pleasant thing. So I would say to the gentleman on the panel, don't be put off. Say hello still, because there are some of us that will say hi back.
Can I ask which venue would you consider acceptable for men to be approaching women?
I'm not saying it's not acceptable to approach women in a club or a soca dance or anything. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is I'm not really looking for someone in those environments. I may well meet someone in that environment, but that's not where I'm primarily looking, because I find that when you were able to go out 2 years ago, you see the same people in different venues all the time. And you just think, well, I don't know if you're the sort of person that I really want to be around. So I'd be looking for people, maybe I might have gone to see a comedy show or a theatre show, or like you say, even the library, even though you're not meant to talk in there, supermarket, lots and lots of different places, you know, amongst other friends. So yeah, I just think the days for me for looking or thinking about finding someone in a club, no, not anymore. No.
I just think if you go and approach people in some of them places you just mentioned, you could be down with a class action very soon.
Well, it depends. I think it depends on how you behave. A gentleman approached me in a supermarket during lockdown, actually, and he was so polite. And I said to him, "You know what? You've made my day. You really have." And
Was it
had a little
good looking?
conversation. That's irrelevant.
It makes a massive difference, you know.
Well, put it this way: he was polite. He said to me, "You know, you look lovely," all of that kind of thing. And he was really polite. And I said to him, "Thank you. You've made my day." We met again in another aisle and we spoke again. But he wasn't someone that I was interested in. But what I'm saying is, if I were, it would be a different matter. But it was just nice to be appreciated when you're going about your daily business. And I think that we shouldn't be scared of that. We should just smile. If the person looks back at you screw-faced, then you know not to even open your mouth, but smile. You might make someone's day.
Well, in the supermarket, it might be a bit hard because a lot of them are wearing masks.
I was wearing a mask, Kelly, on.
The smile,
the eyes. It's all about the eyes. It's all about the eyes.
I'm just saying that I think the point I'm making here is this as well, is that this whole COVID thing is making people, you know, take a 2 meter stand back. So yeah, if you're saying hi 2 meters away, then I guess you're safe. I guess maybe a phone call after that, I guess you're still safe. I mean, just how like where is this going?
Yeah.
I'm just I gotta be honest with you. I just find it hilarious that I'm gonna go and meet someone in a supermarket aisle. It's the last place I would think you literally, you know, your chances are like 1 in 1,000. Got to be.
I mean, they can see my smile. They can see my smile because I show them this. You know what I'm saying? So they can see my smile. I mean, but it can be quite mystical. It can be quite a mystery. You know, it's like, oh, wonder what's underneath there. You know what I mean? It's just like, oh, you know what I mean? And then sometimes you take off, you're like, oh no, no, it's all right. The master's kind of even a bit of a mystery. Can be positive, can be negative.
Well, we've got
Anyway.
a Facebook user saying not in the supermarket, but in a car park. You know, not in a supermarket. But you can meet anyone anywhere. You know, you just got to be open to it, and you never know who is going to be there. You never ever know. So you know, be open and be ready. And the thing for me, the worst thing is when you are unprepared and go to the supermarket and you look like you've just been dragged around the hedge backwards, and then you meet some random person like, "Hi, how are you?" And you're thinking, "Oh God, I look a bit mashed up today." But you know, if that's the case, you just take the compliment, because you know you look lovely today, and you know within yourself that you're not looking as great as you could do. But you know, you take the compliment and you move on. And like Michelle says, it makes your day. So if you are in the supermarket and you are, whether you're single or not, just say hello. I think it's a.
What about when you were in the supermarket with your bonnet and slippers on?
No.
See
But,
that?
see,
Because in
that's
that
a
look,
whole
that
different
look that a lot
conversation.
of women
No,
think,
I
I
don't get that. I don't like that whole bonnet thing.
Slippers, and it's like men are looking at you like,
Nah,
we really come to that.
nah. I don't do the bonnet, and I don't do slippers in a supermarket. I draw the line.
Enough women do it.
I see it, and it was over our holiday when we were off for the 6 weeks. It was big. It was a big topic, and we can pick it up on another show. But it, you know, I have to say to my younger counterparts, the young ladies, fix up. You don't. I mean, I'm not saying that you have to, you know, be all makeup and eyelashes and all that when you go into shop. But come on, you wear the bonnet to your bed to sleep. I see many young people of all ethnicities wearing their dressing gown and their night clothes to the shops. I don't get
They're onesies.
Have some pride, man. That's just me. Just have some pride.
Just me? No, it's not just you. It's me too. I don't get it.
No.
Well, if
is it that we're old school though? Is that the is?
Yeah, we are. We are.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you're looking, if say for example you do meet someone in the supermarket, a woman meets a man in the supermarket and he starts speaking to her, well, you can do some of your reconnaissance already, because you can check what's in his basket and see whether he's shopping for one or if he's shopping for a family. So, you know, tick that box, it makes it nice and easy. I think we need to stop generalizing, because
who does that?
well, you might. You never
Yeah,
know.
but how do you
At
know
the
it?
end
How
of
do you
the
know
day-
he's not shopping for his elderly auntie and uncle? And
Exactly.
you know,
You don't,
So
but I'm just saying, if we're going to generalize,
Can't even do them
if we're
things
going
they
to
keep strong.
generalize about women wearing bonnets in supermarkets and making it so trivial when none of these women on the panel actually do that, then we could as well just make a fuss of the whole thing. Come on, we can do better than that.
But I will say this, right? Because I am a voyeur. I look, right. I'm just going to put it out there. And it's like, oh, did she say that? So if it's equal to, if I see a man and he's wearing jogging pants and he's swinging from side to side, I don't think that's a good look either. And yes, I am looking there, because yes, I'm a voyeur and I look. Yes, I look. Yes, I look.
yes, you're
Right.
twice.
That's not a good look.
I mean, she just laughing.
not a good
I was like,
look.
did you say that? Yeah. It's the same thing. You know, take a little pride in it's men and women. Take pride in yourself. Just a little piece when you're going to shop. You don't have to have it all hanging. All your backside is hanging out your trousers. Why? You know, and that's grown men. I see grown men doing that style as well.
Sagging.
It's not good. It's not a good look.
It's showing your age, though, isn't it?
Am I showing my? Do you know what?
No, it's just showing me that person can't be bothered. That's what it's showing me.
It's not that at all. Some people actually think that looks good.
Where?
Well,
I don't know why they would
You
think
have
that.
to be of an age. That's what, you know. Look, we're generalizing, but we're generalizing. We have to put it out there. Some people find that attractive. We've seen
Well,
plenty of videos in the 6 weeks with women talking about, oh, I like a man who's hood and who carries a 6-inch knife and blah blah and blah blah. There are certain looks that's listen, think back to your younger years. Think back to your younger years, yeah? What was more popular? The nice guy or the bad guy?
The bad guy, I guess.
Thank you very much.
well, I can say for me, it wasn't the bad guy, it was the nice guy. Because that's the type of men I went for, the nice ones. I don't like bad boys. I don't like them. There's nothing that they've got that I like. I don't like that whole mystery of, oh, he's a rude boy. I'm not interested in that. My
That's
interest
you,
is how
though.
you treat me, and how I see those kind of guys treating women is not how I want to be treated. So I stayed far from that rude boy, bad boy kind of. That was never ever my kind of thing at all.
No, I'm talking the ones that look nice, present themselves well, speak well, but there's a point you don't cross with them. Them ones are all right. I'm not talking them wannabe bad man who dress bad and everything that come out their mouth is, oh yeah, I'm not interested in them ones.
Okay, so what about the ones who look nice, drive nice car, but you know they're running a little something in the hood?
Not interested.
We're older than that, Tony.
Yeah,
we're talking
bigger
about
than that.
what happened back in, before the turn of this
today,
century.
Michelle. It still happens today. What are you talking about?
What if you're 50 plus self? Seriously.
You clearly don't see what's going on out on the street there, because there's plenty of men who are still running a Beamer, running all kind of things.
Yeah, but why should that bother you? Because if a woman that if you're looking for a lady, if you're considering a lady that will consider that, then there's a fault with you, because her mindset isn't where you supposedly want to be. So it's an irrelevant point. We're not in our 20s anymore. We're in our 40s and our 50s. Kellyanne, I don't know where you are. I'm sorry, but we're older than that. We learn from the past.
Over 40s club, yeah. It's the over 40s club. So I'm definitely
well done. At the end of the day, we're over that.
I think it's a reflection of I think Tony was like saying back, what were you looking at in those days? And I think,
same thing applies today.
I do have to agree with Tony on this one. If we are looking at how people behave, there is nothing new under the sun. What we did and what's going on now is exactly the same, but the dynamics are different because we've got technology and all of those things that young people have got today. But there are certain young women. I've seen the videos. People send me videos, and guys, send me as many videos as you like. I do watch them. I've seen some videos of young girls who are looking for. There was a young girl that was saying I would expect my man to carry a knife and all this foolishness.
Yeah, obviously.
And back in the day, yes, that still was there. But for me, where I am today and the life that I lead today is, what is the solution to that? How can we bring about the change? Because a lot of our parents come from the Windrush, and it was different for them. We were born here. How do we make the change? How do we bridge that gap that the young people and us seem to have, that we can't hold a conversation to bring knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to them, so that they don't make those same mistakes that we may have, or our counterparts may have made back in the day, because we're wiser now. But like I say, back in the day, I was never the rude boy girl. That didn't appeal to me at all. I liked the nice guy. I liked the guy that would talk to me nice. I have never liked swearing, ever. And most people that know me, I very rarely swear, very rarely. So I don't like that kind of persona. And yes, I followed sound. Somebody said the women wanted to walk with the sound man so they could get into the club for free. That did make me laugh. Actually, it did.
But that was true. That was true.
Yeah. So, but we are going to move on with the show. because that's not what we're here to talk about today. We are here to talk about, it's Red Letter Tuesday. It's Red Letter Tuesday, and we have had some letters in. So I'm going to start with the shortest one, and I want you guys to let us know what you think and what you would tell these people who have written. So it's 2 letters from women, and I'm going to go for this one first. So it says, "Hi Yvonne, thank you for doing the relationship show. It's very interesting and I watch it regularly." So this is great. So here we are. I am in my early 50s, happy and single with no baggage. I am an independent working lady and I have a male friend that I really like. This should be interesting. He is lovely, she says. Right. We get on extremely well, and I'm not sure, I think he likes me too. Well, she goes on to say, I thought he did. We have a lot in common and have great conversations in person and on the phone. I am ready to settle down or be in a committed relationship, and I would really like to do this with this guy. The trouble is, lately, he's not giving me as much attention as normal. Our phone calls are shorter and less. I really thought I was in with a chance. So my question is, should I tell him how I feel? So I'm going to go to the women first, and then I'm going to go to the men, because the men are going to be able to give a little bit more insight. Well, I hope you can. So I'm gonna go to Sheena first, and I'm gonna ask. The lady she's in her early 50s. She see a man. She like a man. What should she do?
Boy. Well, I mean, she's saying that he's like the conversations have sort of like become shorter. To me, that's a sign to say the man's not feeling her. He's not interested. So I personally, for once he's starting to do that, I don't think I would then go as far as to tell him how I feel and that he's the man that I want to settle down with. I wouldn't have that conversation, because for me, he's already shown me signs that he's not on that level. He's not ready to do that from the calls, from the conversations changing. That's just me. So I wouldn't bother saying anything other than just say, do you know what, keep it moving. There is somebody out there for you. But whilst we think that the person that we like and that we want to settle down with, we have all these things and we think all these wonderful things, that man doesn't appear to be showing that he's on the same wavelength. So I personally wouldn't say anything further to him.
Okay. Thank you for that, Sheena. I'm going to throw it over to Michelle. Michelle.
I think that at her age, she should let him know, because she's having conversations with him. Maybe the conversations from his side are getting shorter and shorter because he feels that she's not interested. It could be that something else is happening in his life as well, but she could as well shoot her shot if that's what she wants to do, if that's who she feels she wants to be around. But I think she should preface it with having some sort of general conversations with him about what he wants in his future, so that she can get some sort of indication. But she could as well say, what's she going to do? If she loses the friendship over it, then what was he worth in the first place? Give it a go. She's 15. Get on with it.
Thank you for that, Michelle. Thank you. There's a few people here on the chat that are saying, somebody was saying, Facebook user saying, yes, she should be honest and tell him how she feels. Another Facebook user says the reason why he slowed down is because he's found someone else. Okay. All right. So I'm going to bring in the guys. And just kind of get a feel of this, because you guys are men. and you know what it's like. You know how you feel. So here's a woman in her 50s, independent, working, happy. She says, you know, everything sounds good. And she's got a friend. They're friends. They talk. So they're talking often. They talk in person and they talk on the phone. But he seems to be weighing off a little bit. She thought he was interested. Now she's not so sure. That's how it comes across here. So, Tony, come in and tell me and tell us what you make of this. Come on, tell us.
Are you ready for the truth?
Come tell us.
Can you handle the truth?
Yeah, come on, tell us.
I mean, in short, you have to tell him. You have to tell him how you feel. You should have that conversation. We're of an age now where we don't need to beat around the bush and, you know, spend 3 months and 6 months and 12 months mollycoddling and you know, get up front and straight. You know, this is me. Yeah, get to know me. But in getting to know me, you're gonna know every little idiosyncrasy, and you're gonna get to know me as a person. Now, am I the type of person that is engaging in daily dialogue with the person I like? Yes. Does that engagement have to be half hour long every day, 15 minutes, 2 hours? No. What am I doing in my life outside of you that might be taking up my life and meaning that I don't have all that amount of time to be spending that hour every day talking to you? So men are built different to women. Women, I know through fact that, you know, look, the emotional content needs to be there constantly. Yeah, we like, you know, it's like this. When you message me, why don't you put a heart on the end of your message? Where are the X's on the end of your message? Men ain't about that. We just don't. We're logical creatures. Hi, how you doing? Hello, quick. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean to say that we don't like you, but we're logical creatures. We don't have to have all the, you know, lovey-dovey hearts, the emojis, the million memes. You know, I had a friend, got a friend, sends all that kind of stuff day in, day out. I'm like, bruh, Tid. I'm not about that life.
It's not for you. I think it's fair to say, though, Tony.
A lot of, you know,
I think it's fair to say that not all women want the heart.
It's not all men, but some men just really ain't about that meme life and all the hearts and the X's and, you know what I mean? They like to keep it short. Tell me how you feel. You like me, I like you. Great, fantastic.
So you think she should tell him?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
That absolutely makes no sense walking away from the situation, because he might be mad in love with you, but he doesn't operate in that I'm going to spend an hour every evening or every morning or every afternoon messaging you and sending you 6 messages a day. It don't work like that for every man. Yeah.
Okay.
Men are more open. Yes, I understand the message down below. That
I was just about to say.
But let's be honest, there's a honeymoon period. When I first meet you, I'm all over you. I want to send you this. I want to send you that. I want to show you.
Yeah, but remember, they're friends, Tony. They're friends.
Yeah.
Right? They're friends. Yeah. So hold your thought, Tony. I want to hear what Kellion's got to say, and then I'm going to come back to you. Kellyon, what? Because I get what you're saying. She should say something to him. Kellyon, what are your thoughts?
Well, yeah, she should say something to him, but I want to just get a bit more specific here, because I'm hearing hearts and sending these memes and stuff like that. So if they're friends, are they friends as in there's more than friendship, or she does like him, right? So
from what I get from this, so I've read it out, what I get from this is that they are friends. There's nothing else in it. They talk regularly, so they have conversations on the phone, they have conversations in person, so they must meet up at some stage, whether it's as a friend or it doesn't give the description. She said she likes him and she would like to pursue it, and she thought he liked her.
I was getting that they're more talking on texting and calls opposed to meeting physically. Are they meeting physically? I'm sorry, just to be more specific.
Let me put on the eyeglass and I will read it out again. She said, she's in her 50s, happy, single, no baggage, independent working, has a male friend that she really likes. He is lovely, she said. We get on extremely well, and I think, but I'm not sure, she says, he likes me too. But she says they have a lot in common and they have great conversations in person and on the phone. She then goes on to say that she's ready to settle down and be in a committed relationship. And she would really like to do this with this guy. The trouble is that lately he's not giving her as much attention as normal, and their phone calls have become shorter and less.
Right.
So she said, I really thought I was in with a chance. And so she says, my question is, should I tell him how I feel?
Yeah. Yes, she certainly should. I'm just thinking if they're both accommodating their love languages. Something seems to not be satisfied here. That's what really comes to me. Because I mean, I was first hearing virtual friendship or virtual love. That's what I was first, because as that nonsense goes on, it gets on my nerves. Because we're not virtual people like that. But if they are meeting and it's been great and as friends, but he's now looks as though he's, writhing away, then she should definitely go and speak to him and do it in a way like just go somewhere, like invite him somewhere. Can we go and do this? And I imagine hopefully he will say yes. Find out obviously if she knows him well, she will know his interest. Go for, I don't know, go do something, and then just go into small talk, and then from there she'll be able to gain a bit more, and he'll be able to express himself and take it from there.
Okay, thank you for that, Kellyanne. So we have a little bit of a misbalance here because some agree, some don't. So for those of you who are on the Facebook and are on YouTube, if you think that she should tell him, I want you to type in the number 1. If you think that she should not tell him and just keep it moving, I want you to type in number 5. So 1 is for she should tell him, 5 is for her to just do the jive and go about her business, right? So if we put that on the chat, right, just put that on the chat. Number 1 or number 5? Number 1 or number 5? Okay, so we're getting a lot of 1s coming up. Number 1s, number 5. So this young lady, tell him, number 1, Facebook user. So those of you who are on Facebook, on the top of where we are streaming, there is some words that talks about StreamYard. If you click on that blue link, it will then give us access to your name. Ali J says 5. We've got 1 5. So Sheena, you've got, is Sheena still here? We've got 1 5 here on here. Okay. So yeah, I think this opens up a conversation as to, our communication skills on how we read things. And what Tony mentioned is the difference between men and women. And there is a distinct difference between men and women and how we interpret and how men interpret. Now, I'm not saying that all women are emotionally based. I think that the majority of women are emotionally based first. But there are also women out there, as much as they are in their emotions, can think quite logically as well. And I think we have to kind of get to this place where things have changed a lot. And there are men who operate from an emotional standpoint first, as well as being that person who can look at the information first. Yeah. So I think that when we are talking about, it's very easy when we're talking about men and women to generalize how we are and how we behave. But here is a woman who sounds like she's not as confident as she would like to be. She's unsure of this friendship that she's built up with this friend. She's unsure of this friendship that she's built up with this friend. And so she's coming to us to ask. And I think really, from what we can see from the chat, the odds are that, you know, you should, if you're watching, which I believe you are, you should go and have this conversation with him. And it doesn't have to be an abrupt conversation. It doesn't even have to be, you know, anything like out of the ordinary. As I think Kellyanne said, just go and chat and blah, blah, blah. Just find this guy, give him a call, and wherever it is that you meet or wherever it is that you have these in-person conversations, have that conversation with him. Have a conversation, just say, yeah, you know.
Yvonne, does she say how long she's been friends with this man?
She doesn't say. She doesn't say.
It all depends, again, I think, as well, on how long you've known that person. And if you feel you like them like that, you know.
See, the thing is, I think ordinarily, back in the day, I would have said, Chuck, just go about your business. Don't worry about it. If he likes you, he'll come and find you. But when you get to a certain age, I think your viewpoint changes, and mine certainly has. And the way that I see things now is this is an opportunity, and we have to be quite brave now and say, if I like you, be brave enough to say I like you, and not take that if he doesn't like you as a rejection. Don't take it as a rejection. Just, it's a teachable, it's a learning moment. You don't have to take it so it's, you know, getting you down and it's hurting your feelings and you're getting all vexed. You know, everybody, there's somebody out there for everybody, I believe. And if you are with somebody, you like somebody and you talk to them, what is the worst that they can say? No. Then it's like, next, isn't it? Next. Move on.
Because right now, she's living in a state of turmoil.
Yeah.
Because she's thinking it anyway. So she could be, the way that she's thinking but not expressing could make him feel a little bit uncomfortable because he might not know what's behind it. So she could as well say, she's 50 early 50s, go for it.
And go for it. Absolutely.
Yeah, like you say, a teachable moment. And if it doesn't work out and she feels she can't be friends with him anymore, or he feels that he can't be friends with her anymore, well, at least you know and you can move on. But if she continues trying to be friends with him and feeling that she's losing him somewhat anyway because the conversation's getting shorter and what have you, then she's already in a state of turmoil. And, you know, I don't know what the background is, but people are getting busier at the moment. You know, we're coming out of lockdown. You haven't got as much time to spend on the phone or do things. People are going back to work. It could be all of those factors. And if they are such good friends, she should be able to inquire as to why that is.
Exactly.
So stop hurting yourself and get on with it, girl. Do it.
Spot on. I agree. Daniel Davidson says, however, she has to be prepared for the friendship to change, whether she gets the outcome she's looking for or not. And I think that is a really good point to make, David. Thank you for Daniel. Sorry. Thank you for making that point. And it is true. You know, what has she got to lose? Absolutely nothing, because she's not in a relationship with him anyway. And if, you know, he likes her, and then maybe something else will come from it. But whether she likes it or not, the relationship may change. And that's something that, you know, you got to just say, are you willing to put that risk on it? And I certainly would, being of this age now.
Okay, he could be off. He could be off in terms of something might be troubling him. And that might be another reason why he's sort of like pulled back as well. Maybe she should ask him if everything's all right with him. Just try and open up there, just see what's going on with him. But I wouldn't go straight into, oh, I like you, this is how I feel, before you ask if everything's all right at his end, especially if she feels that he's drawing back a little bit with the conversations.
Yeah, right. Totally agree. I was
you just never know. You just never know.
Okay.
And then also, you know, again, what's the conversations about? Is it, you know, she's saying that he's a really good friend. Okay, so I've got really good male friends, but I don't have conversations like that, if that makes sense. If she, you know, is something changing in their conversation as well? Is she sort of like telling them in her own, you know, she's only giving us sort of like a snippet, really, isn't she?
Yeah, and that's all we do get with these letters. We just get, you know, out of the person's mind what they want to get out. I think it's, for me to say, I have male friends. I have quite a few male friends who I consider to be really good friends of mine. And I think as a female, and ladies, you can correct me if I'm wrong, sometimes when you meet somebody, especially if it's new and it's somebody that you haven't been friends with a long time, but it's like you're creating a new friendship and you're kind of like questioning, well, does he like me? You know, we're talking, he's not making any innuendos or anything like that. It's just genuine conversation. We get on. In a woman's mind, in my mind, let me just bring it to me, not generalize over anybody else. In my mind, one of the questions I'd be asking is, does he like me? Well, he's spending a lot of time. He's giving me a lot of his attention. There must be some interest somewhere along the line, whether it's as a friend or whether as it is a little something, or whether he's looking at me as a potential life partner. I'm going to think that in the beginning and watch how the relationship, the friendship plays out. Now, sometimes, as I say, I've got a lot of male friends, and sometimes it's just friendship, and you kind of get to know that along the way. And you kind of, as you're sussing out this person, you're thinking, is this person like me? Does he like me? And then you're thinking, well, do I like him? And then you start to think about, do I actually like this person a bit more? Now, obviously, this woman here likes this man a lot more than she knows whether or not he likes her. So I think that to put herself out of misery, I'm not saying she's in misery, but to just put her thinking in a normal state, I think she should just ask him. And when I say ask him, I think she should feel, if it was me, I'd feel out the ground. I'd feel it out, and I would put questions to him in such an indirect, direct way that I would get the answer that I want. So an indirect, direct way.
Well, see, things that they've already been out, you know, is that they've already enjoyed their each other's company. So
yes,
she only has to just do the obvious, which is we'd like to go out again. Let's go to where we normally go to. I'm sure there's a favorite spot that they must go to, and you take it from there.
Yeah, absolutely, Kellyanne. You know, at the end of the night, who's this Facebook user? I think you're very nice, Yvonne Michelle. I want to know who you are. Tell me who you are. Come on. I want to know who you are. Anyway, let me get back on with the show. So, I think it's safe to say that I think that this young lady should go and ask him. And at the end of, that's what I was going to say, at the end of the night, you see, at the end of the night, you go out, you have a nice, you know, you can just offer your cheek, you know, or, you know, you offer your lips to his cheek and say, thank you for a nice evening. If you like him, because you want to know. Because if he pulls away, you're going to know. Or you can just ask him directly, one of the two. Faye Thomas is saying, I have a really good friend who I would love to be in a relationship with. Once he told me I was not his type. We now go out every week, no strings attached, because I still like him as a friend. There you go. There you go. And this is why I say, if the person is saying that you're not their type, do not take it as rejection. Don't cut off a good friendship. Where, you know, back in the day, you might swell up and, oh, he's this and he's all. We don't need to get like that. We're grown folk. We're grown folk. So, okay. So I think the general consensus here is for her to let him know. Yeah, everyone agrees, because I want to move on to the next story. The next letter which is interesting. I want to say this. I do have a letter. And whilst we are on, I have a letter, but I am looking for a couple of people, 2 people, 1 male, 1 female from the LGBTQ community to join me on the panel. So if you are in that community and you would like to be a panel member, please inbox me on info@yvonnemichelle.com. info@yvonnemichelle.com, and that's Michelle with 1 L, Michele, and that's what I'm looking for. Male and a female from the LGBTQ community. Let me not make a mistake. Don't want to upset anybody today. All right, here we go. Here's the final letter for tonight. Dear Yvonne, I'm a single woman in my late 40s. I have been single for a while, but I'm okay with that. I love my job. I'm happy. I have grown children who are very respectful. So really, when I look at my life, I feel blessed. As I said, I am single, and finding a compatible partner would be the icing on the cake. I get approached, but not as much as in the good days. And we've just touched on that actually, so it's quite fitting. The COVID restrictions haven't helped, but I do find pleasure in watching your show. Thank you very much for that. So lately I have had to get some work done on my car. So I took it to the local garage, had the work done on the car, and all was good. But, and the but is in capital letters, let me just say, but. I then got a call from my mechanic, which I thought was a friendly call. We spoke for a while, and he encouraged me to bring the car down anytime, which I thought was nice. However, he called again 2 days later and asked me if he could send me a picture. I wasn't quite sure and asked him what it was about. He asked if he could send the picture and then he would call me to explain. So I said, okay. He sent me a picture of a woman. I was confused, but still thought nothing of it. Then he called me the next day to ask if I received the picture. I told him I'd received it, and I went on to tell him that I was confused. What was I supposed to know this woman? He said the obvious. So you don't know her? She knows you, he said. Right, so she's saying this confused me more, but then he went on to say that this woman fancies me. This letter's got a lot of twists and turns in it. All right. I then said to my mechanic, why are you sending this to me? I am not interested in women. He said, well, I don't know, and she asked me to give you her details. After some probing, he said this woman is into men and women, and this woman was an ex-girlfriend of his. Then I started to get vexed because I realized this man was trying to ask me to be part of a threesome. Now, Yvonne, I don't know where this man got this idea that I would be remotely interested in this. I'm not interested in him either. He is really not my type. And I noticed he is quite a show-off when I see him at the garage. I understand that we are big people and can do what we like, but I feel so insulted, capitals. I keep myself well. I go to the gym. I get my nails done. I look after myself. I don't trouble anyone. And I'm looking for a decent man to see me through my senior years. Is this how men are doing things these days? Why would this man think it's okay to approach me in this way? Where do I go to find a decent man? I need your help. We women need to find a way. No, sorry. We women need a way to find a decent man. Please help. Anonymous. So, Michelle, sort of cricking her neck like, yeah, I'm ready for this one. Right. Who wants to jump in? Because there's a lot to this story. I'm reading it and I'm like, let me not get confused with what's going on here. So who wants to jump in? Who wants to jump in first?
Shall I start?
Yeah, you start.
Okay. So she's gone to the garage. She's had conversations with this man. And now she feels insulted that he has made a roundabout proposal to her to have a menage a trois. Well, what conversation were you having with him in the first place for him to have any indication that you were interested in anyone? If you are single, in your 40s, happy with that and feeling blessed. You've had some sort of conversation with him that's given him an indication that you might be either looking for a relationship or looking for a little something. Something has ignited that in him. He's seen that. I wouldn't be insulted because everybody's got an absolute right to ask whatever they want to ask, and you have an absolute right to say no. And that's just the end of it. So no, this isn't necessarily the way that men do things these days. Some men do it that way. Some men might have sent her a dick pic for, something like that. Some men don't do that at all. Maybe some men are shy. They're all different. But if you're going to ask now, how do you find a decent man? It implies to me that you were thinking of him in that way. So he has seen something in you that has made him feel that he had the right to ask. And when I say that, I'm not saying that it's to blame this lady or to blame him, but there's just some sort of communication that has raised that interest. And all she has to do is politely say no. And now, if you think he's flashy and what have you, you've got choices. Go to a different garage if you don't want to be around that.
Okay. Thank you,
Amen.
Michelle.
Amen.
I can see.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see Tony's like Tony laughing and shaking his head. Tony, come in. Come on. Come in. Come hither.
Want to find a decent man? Go to the supermarket.
Yeah, see if he's got half a can of baked beans.
Oh, Tony.
Oh.
Oh, dear.
Oh, Lord.
We were talking about, for those of you who are just joining us, we were talking about different places where you'd find a decent person earlier on in the show. A supermarket was brought up. Actually, a garage was not one of those places. So, yeah, your local garage mechanic, maybe he is just not the one for you. Yes, Tony, supermarket at Waitrose.
Yeah, that's where I shop. I ain't never met no one there yet still. But yeah, that was a good letter. I had to go and fix myself a strong drink.
What are you drinking, Tony?
my usual ginger beer and rum.
Okay.
So yeah, listen. If the young lady's listening, take the compliment. Accept the compliment. Somebody likes you, a man and a woman, and they were being honest with you. What? How is he not decent? He didn't come with any stupidness. He asked you nicely if he could send a picture. You accepted. You took the picture. You were slightly bemused. Then he explained the picture. We on this program have talked about lots of different types of relationships. Yeah, we have talked about polyamory several times. It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. Quite clearly, they are into that. You're not. But don't blame a man for asking a question in a decent manner. If he came to you and he sent you a picture of indecency, you got every right to cuss. But all he did was send you a picture of a woman. By the sounds of it, it wasn't her naked or anything, just a picture. And then he entered into a discussion with you. And you were clearly offended, but there's no reason to be. It's like I've been several times approached by gay men. And I respectfully say, thank you for your interest. I'm not that way inclined. But you know what? I feel like, you know what? Great, fantastic. I'm attractive to men and women. Why should I feel upset about that? Take it. Move on.
Thank you. Faith says, well said, Tony. He is still decent, very decent. Carrie, I'm going to bring in Kelly on. Sheena, have you said I'll bring in Sheena after you, Kelly? Kelly on, come in and tell me what you think.
Well, I mean, as we heard, she just got insulted for something that she didn't need to really be insulted by, really. It just seemed like a conversation that maybe she wouldn't really entertain. And okay, I mean, I totally agree with what Michelle said there. You know, she may have or given some kind of invitation for him to feel relaxed and comfortable to say that. She's in her late 40s, so I don't know what planet she may have. And I said it respectfully. I've had it where, you know, I've been to a club when a few men are looking at me and I'm like, what's going on here? And then I didn't have to realize this is the world today, you know. And these guys, some of them well groomed, you know, well groomed. But I'm like, sorry, bro, I do not swing that way, you know, and said it politely, you know, and they still try to ting. They still try to ting. I'm like, what the heck is going on?
Okay.
You know? But it's just today's world. So, you know, I agree with Tony as well. Just, you know, smile it off. You know, I don't swing that way, but you know, we can still talk, and that's about it. I think that's the most I got to say really to that.
Okay, Sheena.
Right, I'm going to say it from a different perspective now. Yeah. So it might. All right. So whilst people, all right. So we're all on saying similar things or agreeing with similar things with regards to what we think the situation could be. But what if it was just a simple case of, because remember now, it's the man's ex-girlfriend, so that doesn't actually imply that there's anything going on with him and the ex. Yeah, it could be just a case of his ex has seen the woman down the garage at some point, and she's expressed to her ex that the woman is nice and she'd like to know her, kind of thing. Now, big people just approach and have that conversation. Why is the ex-boyfriend, the mechanic, in the middle of that equation? Why is he asking for a picture? I wouldn't be giving him no picture of me, period. So if you're giving the man a picture, like what Michelle said, what conversation was had? To be giving a picture to your mechanic, I wouldn't be giving my photo to my mechanic about, you know, no.
The picture was else. The picture was of the mechanic's ex-girlfriend to his client.
Right. Okay. So it could just be a case of the woman fancies it. It doesn't necessarily mean that the man's involved in that as well. So we could be just looking at that all wrong.
I tend to agree partially with you, Sheena. I have a different stance on this completely, because I actually think he is what he did was really unethical, and the reason is because the woman is his client. She goes to the garage to get her car fixed. She doesn't go there for him to be introducing her to his ex-partner at all. I don't think it's right at all, and I would be offended, absolutely offended, if my mechanic came and approached me in that way, I would be. I'm just saying, because I think that there has to be a level of boundary. Whether I don't necessarily pick up that there was anything between her and the mechanic before. I think she just said it was her mechanic. So I'm just taking it at face value of what she said. She's taken her car, their car gets fixed, and then her mechanic has approached her and said, and for me, it looked like a Harsted and Calfat story. That's how I read it, because I read it as if, well, it's like she was explaining the story. So that's how I see it. I think that sometimes we have to be a little bit more professional in what we do. And I'm talking from the perspective of being a self-employed person, you know, and if I'm doing a service, if I'm providing a service for my client, I'm not going to tell my client that somebody fancies them. I'm going to tell that person who fancies them, go and tell that person themselves. That's what I'm going to do, because it gets all mixed up. I'm just saying, just get mix up, blend. And I personally am not into that. So I when I read this letter, I have to admit, I laughed. I was like, but as I was reading it, I could feel that was where it was going in terms of what his expectation was. But actually, a question that I would like to ask her is does this mechanic actually like you himself? Is this whole thing a smokescreen? What I would have a conversation with him, and I would tell him that he's out of order. I would tell him, don't approach me in that way at all. I don't think it's nice at all. That's just me. So,
but Yvonne,
yeah,
she said, from what I remember, she said that she went to get the car fixed and everything was sorted, and then he called her a few days later and they had a conversation. She didn't know why. She entertained the conversation, a random conversation. It's not like he called her to say that I forgot to put back something on your car, you need to bring it back in. He didn't call her about the mechanic side of it. He called her outside of that.
Yeah.
And she entertained the conversation.
He called her, she said he called her 2 days later and asked if he could send her a picture. Mm-hmm. That's what that conversation was. She says, I wasn't quite sure and asked him what it was about. He asked if he could send a picture and explain later. That's what she says. Yeah,
well, then she should have said no, because she asked him, he kind of evaded. So she should have said no, because what you sending me a picture of? A pair of brakes? No, you don't know what it's about. So you've kind of taken it out of the garage, haven't you? He's called you and you've had a random conversation. Oh. So to me, we have to be a bit careful. And this speaks to what the gentleman was saying earlier. Where do you meet people? How do you meet people? If he had come to her in a different way, she said he's not her type, which is fine. But if he was her type and she met him at the garage and then he called her later, that might have been okay. And he was just talking about himself or developing some sort of friendship over the phone. She might have taken a different tack. It's because she's not into whatever he's suggesting, whether it's just him, the lady on her own, or him and the lady, that she feels insulted. But how would you meet people? We meet people in all different walks of life. We meet people at work. Lots of people marry people that they work with. So we have to be a little bit reasonable. If he had said to her whilst he was... No, I'm not even going there with you. Because yes, we have to meet people and she's met him. But I'm going to stop you there because it's the approach. And I think that's what she's saying, how he approached her. She feels insulted. And so would I. Because my expectation is I would be flabbergasted if somebody just came up to me and sent me a picture of a woman and said, yeah, let's have a threesome. No. But he didn't. He didn't do that. No, but he did. That's what she said. That's what that is saying, is that he asked her to if he could send a picture. And this person
And she was confused. She said, "Why are you sending me a picture of a woman? What is that about?" And as the conversation came out, she ascertained that he was asking her for a threesome.
But the
That's
initial,
ascertained. That's ascertained, though.
So for her, she's saying that she wants to meet a decent man. So her perception of a decent man is not somebody who's going to approach her for a threesome, because she said she wants to settle. I don't know if I'm getting confused with the other letter, but I'm getting that she wants to settle down, and that's not the type.
No, that's the first letter. That's the first letter. This one is just the mechanic asking her, giving her a picture of his ex.
She asked, "Is this how men do it these days?" That's what she asked.
That's what she's asking. So, is this how men are asking women out these days? That's what she's asking. Is this how it is now? Is this the benchmark?
Well, but how many men has she met, though?
How
many men has she met to say that?
For a threesome?
Okay, yeah, but he never said nothing about a threesome.
So, okay, let me break this down.
He never said nothing about a threesome.
He did.
So the first letter didn't mention the threesome.
No, the second letter, the latter letter. Letter is about the threesome.
The first point of call is, let's deal with the first point of call. That's where you get the opportunity to say that conversation doesn't need to go any further than the first conversation, because when you rang me, you didn't ring me in a professional setting. You didn't ring up and say, "By the way, senior breaks, you only got 5,000 miles left. Can I book you in?" That wasn't the conversation.
No.
The conversation had nothing to do with the business. Yeah? In your eyes, Michelle, the man cannot step to you because he's your mechanic, which a number of people have mentioned already. Your husband could be the mechanic. So you're shutting down.
To me?
Are
you talking to Yvonne Michelle or Michelle?
I'm talking about you.
You can't be talking about me, Tony,
because you just said there's no way a mechanic can step to me because he has a professional code of conduct.
Couldn't step to me. I said in this situation, that person could step to me. I would be offended if he done that to me. I would, and that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying he couldn't. A mechanic, it's nothing to do with his job.
Okay, several people have mentioned in the chat that you are missing an opportunity if you are shutting down every mechanic, because they should never step to you because of the professional side of their business. Because you never know.
Let me say this to make it clear to everyone that's in here. It's not about his job. It's not about him being a mechanic. What I'm saying is he is in a position where he has a business. Right? He has a business, so he should act more professionally. That is what I am saying.
So what you're saying is, if a man has a business interest with you, he should never overstep that business interest if he finds you attractive and would like to invite you out for a date.
No,
is that what
I'm saying? I'm saying there is a way to approach a person.
Right.
There's a way to approach. And for me, that approach would offend me. And I'm just being honest. And that's how I am. That's my level. And I'm not taking down my level for anybody. That's how I am. I would be, he could be anything. He could have his own business. He could be, I don't know, a financial advisor. He could be a boxer. He could be anything. He could be a sportsman. It doesn't matter what he does. It doesn't matter. His job role is irrelevant. It's about how he approaches and how he uses what he does to infiltrate and get to talk to women or whoever it is, or vice versa. So, and I used the example, and I said, I'm self-employed. So I meet men all the time. But what I wouldn't do, even if it was one of my brethren that liked one of my clients, what I wouldn't do is go to my client and say, my friend, my brethren, my sister likes you. I wouldn't do that because it's not professional. What I would do is I would tell that person, go and speak to them yourself. Don't put me in the middle of anything. That's what I would do, and I think that is the adult thing to do. I think it's a professional thing to do, and that's just as I am. And I
So can I
Yeah,
confirm
I agree
you're
with that. I
happy?
agree with that.
So
I
you're
agree with that.
happy. Can I confirm you're happy for the garage man to ring you up and say, by the way, thank you for bringing your business to me. Just wanted to say I find you very attractive, and I would love the opportunity to take you out on a date one evening. Did he overstep the mark?
No,
But he never said that though, did he?
He didn't say that though, Tony, and that's not overstepping the mark.
I'm just asking the question.
That's not overstepping the mark.
That's fine.
That's been
Great.
that's been a gentleman. That's being normal. That's been what I consider to be normal. So yeah, that would be fine. Cool. But I think where the lines have been blurred on this is the fact that he's brought a third party in. She doesn't know, and for me, I do what I do, right? So I'm thinking to myself, well, how does this woman know her? Where did she see her? Did she see her at the garage? Was she there? Did she see her somewhere else? Where did she know this woman from? Because the woman said she doesn't know the woman. She didn't see her. She doesn't know her. So my inquisitive mind is I'm asking questions. So I would put, if the mechanic had done that to me, I would have put so much question to him. Why would he think it's okay to do that? And where did she see me from? And why is it him coming to me and not her? Because if it was her coming, that'd be different. Does that make sense?
So what I'd like to ask is, let's look at that scenario. You go into the garage, and you speak to the garage owner. There's a guy sitting in the back of the garage. He's doing another car, but he happens to see you and think, wow, she is beautiful.
Yeah, but Tony, you're missing the point. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the fact that a woman, it's a woman that likes her. So you're coming to it from like a man and man thing. We know about the man and man thing. We're talking about the woman, a woman, the ex has given this customer a photograph of his ex. Is that right, Yvonne?
Yeah,
Right. So that's his ex, number one. Why is he getting in the middle of it? He's the mechanic, right? So at the end of the day, it's not about, the fact that he's the mechanic. I'm talking as a business, professionally. If it's his ex and the ex has seen this woman somewhere and she likes her, which clearly she does, why hasn't she gone to the woman herself? Right. Why is the ex getting involved? It's not about the fact he's a mechanic. And we know about the man and we know about the man and woman. So we're talking about the woman and woman relationship right here. This woman, there's a woman who fancied another woman who happens to be the customer, but she obviously hasn't got maybe she's nervous, maybe she's just frightened. Yeah, maybe she doesn't want to approach this woman, so she's maybe asked her ex to help her to do it. We don't know. We got to look at this in all different ways.
Exactly.
So
what I'm trying to get to the point is, I'm trying to work out if the man was asked a question to say, would you mind being the conduit between me and this person? Because I don't know this person, but I have a crush on this person. I might have been going to the supermarket and seeing this woman every week, but I just don't have the balls to say I really like you, like me.
Okay.
Because I ain't asking no woman out.
So why didn't the man say that then?
We don't know that he didn't.
Well, he couldn't. It's not in the letter, is it?
No. And as Natural Mystic says, too much passer in this situation. Why the woman even entertaining this mix-up? Listen, there's for me totally for passer in this. I think, like I say, I can only take it from it's my point of view. Everyone's entitled to theirs, but I just think that if you are and
look at the comment below.
You also have to remember. You also have to remember. Like I've got a business head on, so I'm thinking, well, you want to be. You're sending stuff out. You're sending pictures of a woman. Blah 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 blah. My question is, what has he sent of mine to her? Now, I don't know. You know, it's all these. Listen, we live in a world of social media. People take pictures all the time. So, like I said, my first question would be, where does this woman know me from? Where?
Right. So I'm inclined. I'm going to assume that she's maybe come to meet her ex for, I don't know, maybe say meet him at the garage for whatever reason, or give him one letter that come to her address and says, see one bill, drop here for you, it's yours, take it, right? And then she might have caught a glance of the customer at some point and checked her out and thought, rah, and then asked her ex, you know, is she single? Do you know her? And where to have a conversation? Oh, I like her, right? So I hear that and I understand that part of it. I understand that part of it. So it could be a case of that.
No, I mean, I understand that. Yeah, I understand the part of it, but what I don't understand is why the man just didn't tell his ex, if you like her, go and talk to her.
Because
he's
going to be involved.
He's going to be involved. Exactly.
He's going to be involved.
Not necessarily.
What man?
Not necessarily.
I don't believe
they might be good friends though. Exes can be good friends.
It's not his ex. It ain't his ex.
It said ex in the letter.
Yeah, he did say it was an ex.
That's what he told her.
Yeah.
Right.
You're telling me that a man is going to say, this man is going to say to this woman, the client, that here's my ex. She's into women. I'm passing the information to you, and he's not going to be involved somehow. He's just telling her that to feel out how she's going to react. They had not, according to what Yvonne said, I think they had the interaction at the garage. Then he called her one time. Then he called her 2 days later. Is that right?
That's what the letter says.
Yeah. So in the first conversation after the business transaction had been done, she didn't shut him down. She gave him some sort of indication. I'm not saying that he was right or she was wrong. I'm just saying he was given some sort of indication that she was open to some kinds of conversations with him outside of fixing the car.
Yeah, all right. I believe that. I believe that. Yeah.
Now he's asked her, "Can I send you something?" If she didn't want it, she should have said no. If he said, "I'm going to send it to you and I'm going to tell you after," you should have said, "Well, actually, no, I'm not comfortable with that. I want to know what it is first."
Thank you.
Okay,
right?
but I'm just going by the words that she's. All right, so so she's insulted, or for what he said. What's that? I can't see my own good. What it said?
It said exactly.
Why does a woman have to shut it down in order for it to be unacceptable? Okay, I hear that too. I'm just trying to look at things from different sides of the fence, because we're going by
three of them. They're all going to bungle up, and that's what he wanted.
Okay, but then
she doesn't want it. Don't be insulted. Just say no.
Okay, so but she hasn't said that in the letter though.
She said she feels insulted because I don't know, because she doesn't say, but maybe she just sees him as her mechanic. And she feels
maybe she likes him.
Maybe she feels that's the boundary that he's overstepped.
Or maybe she likes him.
She does
like him.
People do that.
He sent her the picture of a woman, and that kind of took her off.
Off guard.
Yeah,
she said she doesn't like him. She does make a point of saying she don't like him in here.
Oh, so she don't like him.
She did say. She says in here she doesn't like him like that.
But she also says
it's her mechanic, and he says to her. So there must be some kind of. It sounds as if this is her local mechanic.
Fantasy talk. Maybe she had a fantasy talk with him about women. We don't know. It could be anything.
Can you not understand?
I'm trying to find it. I'm trying to find the letter again.
Sometimes you need a link man to make something happen. It happens all the time in life. I invited a load of you women to come to my men talking group. One of you women rang me up and said, "Can you introduce me to that fella that was on your men talking?" Guess what that does? That makes me the link man.
All right, Tony.
But then you have the choice to say yes or no. And I would say no.
It's the same scenario. It's the same scenario.
It's not the same scenario,
Sometimes
Tony.
you need a link man or a link
It's
woman
not the same
to
scenario.
Go, hang on a second.
Tony, it's not the same thing because that's a man and woman thing that. And we are talking about a woman like a woman.
And what's the difference?
He wanted to have a menage a trois. This was no ex. This was just a proper bunk up. My girl wasn't ready. She wasn't expecting it. She's now asking, is this how men do this these days, or words to that effect? So it's indicating that she's got some sort of disappointment with the way that the man has approached her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Earlier,
so the approach was wrong.
I'm single. I'm in my 40s. I like my job. I've got grown children. I feel blessed. I'm happy how I am. So then why were you bothered about, why do you think this is how men do it these days? This is
because clearly a conversation has occurred.
You missed out a vital part. You did miss out a vital part. She said, hold on, let me not. As I'm single, find a compatible partner would be right. She says she is single and finding a compatible partner would be the icing on the cake. So she has made, so it's not just about, oh, she's had her children, this and that, and she's happy, so why is she doing that? She's like many women that are, you know, have their do what they do, have their job, happy, whatever, and want their partner to as the icing on the cake. So she's no different from any other, probably half of the women on this thread. She's no different.
Yeah.
But what she's saying is that the man gave her a horse and a cow fat story, which he did, and she's saying that she feels insulted by that he had come to her with that, and she's right. If she wants to feel insulted, she has the right to feel insulted, because I would myself. I wouldn't like that. And
you might not like it.
I would not like it.
But and she has her right to feel insulted. Yes, she does. But what I'm saying is, she entertained the conversation in one conversation. It's not like he was fixing the car and he said it right there and then in that professional situation. He called her outside of time. They had a random conversation. He asked her to call her again. So maybe she thought he was moving in a different direction. Maybe. But the direction he took served her a curveball. He just took an opportunity. To me, personally, I might think, well, you're bright, but I'm not going to be insulted if you've asked me for a menage a trois. It may not be something that I want to do, and I'm not going to entertain it. But I certainly don't think that he's been no wingman or no link man for his ex-lady. He's either a voyeur, he's going to want to watch, or he's going to want to get in between the two and do a sandwich thing. That's what's going on here as far as I'm concerned. But the lady doesn't have to think that other men are going to be that way, because not everyone's going to be into that, and not everybody's going to approach her in that way. So keep it moving, and hopefully she will find somebody that is, what she's preferring to be with. And that's it.
Well, at least we've looked at it from different angles anyway. So we've explored it. So Miss Unanimous, I hope we've helped you somehow.
Yeah, and buy a car on lease so that you just bring it straight back to the original garage and don't be going by that man again.
But you see, the thing is, I'm glad you brought that up, because I have a car, as lots of people do, and when I go to the mechanic, when I go to take my car in, I take it to BMW. Now, I will say this: every salesman, there's a salesman there. Every time I go there, he's out, it doesn't matter what's going on, he's coming to chat. So, if you are not one of those people who just, don't want to talk to people, even my old mechanic now, we still talk, and it's just talk. It's just chit chat. It's not like talk. And I'm not thinking, oh, this man is looking me or nothing like that. It's just talk. So this is why I say, I just think he's crossed, for me, he's crossed the boundary. I wouldn't expect anybody if he was working at BMW, not that I'm plugging or, branding out names of cars, but Aldi, wherever, and some person, one of the sales reps, called me to tell me that his friend or his wife or his girl, like, I would be upset too, same way, because of the nature of what he does. Have manners, have boundaries. Send
Yeah,
a
but he
person to
was
do.
doing it
You
for
don't
her.
need no wingman. We're big people. You don't need no wingman.
It wasn't a wingman.
No,
The
but I'm just saying for the just for Tony's sake. Can we put Theo Manderson's, because it's a lot. I can see a lot of writing. Can we see? He asked her up front. He could have been sneaky and asked her out and then dropped it on her. She's only insulted because it was a woman that fancied her. Maybe.
I think so.
Maybe. That could be.
I think so.
Theodolf. Rotted. I never know the name was Theodolf.
Yeah, man.
A strong name that.
There's another
Wrong.
from Kim. There's one from Kim Ramsey. Let's see
What's
what
up,
she
Kim?
put up.
Big sis.
How did he know that she was polyamorous? It doesn't say. I don't think she is. I think he was
Yeah,
trying
I don't
to
think she is either.
I think he was trying to ting.
a ting.
Yeah, I think he was trying to ting. That's
And
what I
what
think
is it
he
we
was.
always say? Trying a ting is a numbers game, man. You do it enough time, one of them's bound to come in.
Right, did he breach GDPR? LOL. I don't know. No, I don't know, Fade. I don't think he did. I don't know. But
It was
we
a day
wouldn't
protection. Jokes.
we wouldn't know. Or how many ladies has he pulled through this? He sounds like he doesn't get out much, nor does he want to spend much money. So he uses his place of employment to get sexual favors. Kim,
If he did that, he wouldn't have a business.
opportunist.
No.
He wouldn't have a
Opportunist.
business.
No,
We don't know.
I still think it's the
It's a
his
one-off.
Yeah, I think it's a one-off.
I don't
think he
know.
does this.
I'll put my hand in a fire for nobody to say the one.
Listen, if
I'm
he's
not.
a salesman as well as a mechanic, he knows how to chirp a customer.
No, that's me giving the example of the BMW.
Yeah.
I don't
If he's
know.
a salesman as well as a business owner, he knows how to chirp the customer. Because let's be honest, how many times you go in a shop to try a dress on and somebody chirps you? Yeah, they
It's not
tell,
often.
oh, you look so
can't-
nice in
I
that
don't
dress.
recall that. I
I
don't
love
recall
the
that.
way-
Don't recall that. No, I don't recall that.
I don't
for me,
recall
mate.
that at all.
Really?
No one that chirps me when I'm
Right.
trying on clothes. No, not at all.
Right.
Not at all.
I must be the only one that gets these experiences
Right.
in my
So
life.
Kim Ramsey's saying there
I
are.
bet you're looking at your lucky man.
I'm a lucky man.
Yeah,
Now,
I just think, well, I'm a woman. I have standards.
business
I
is
wouldn't
business,
like
Kim,
that.
but at the same time, don't let business stand in the way of a good relationship. Why do you think most police get married to other police?
Good for them.
It's where you
Because
when
they
you
work
congregate all the
together.
time with police people.
Yeah, but
chances are
what you're missing
not
the
only
point,
gonna-
Tony, is that they work together. Yeah,
If
this
you
is
work-
two people working together
But the
at
thing
all.
is,
This is a
but hang on,
customer
Michelle.
and a client. It's a
Yvonne.
different thing.
but Yvonne, police are not meant to date each other.
Who
It's
cares?
in your
We
contract.
ain't talking about the police.
But in most case scenarios, when there's relationships that go on at work, it's frowned upon by the superiors in most case scenarios, right? And it's frowned upon for a reason. Yeah. So we know this. But
Professionalism.
this is not that scenario, Tony. So bringing it right back to where we are, this is a client and a customer.
And he was just trying to be an
he's bringing
opportunist.
no. And it's not just about him going to her. What he's basically doing is introducing another person, a third party. I just don't think it's the right thing to do. I don't think it's a good look at all. I don't. At all.
I don't know what it looks like, but I'm not gonna knock a man for trying.
Well,
He tried a thing.
my thing is,
just
I just
tried
sent
a
a
thing.
message to say, tell me what mechanic not to go to. Thank you very much. Yeah. Next time you go to BMW, you never know. No. Unless you are the BMW salesman that's behind the Facebook user. To say that. No. not at all. But this is how it is. So guys, let's go through some of the comments. I can see some more comments have been coming through after Theo's comment. Can we have a look and see what other comments are coming up on the thread? Right. Go to another garage now and pay the right price for your car.
Wow.
Well, he said to her, she said she should bring her car there any time. Yeah, really. Is it now? Tim says he sounds like an opportunist. Shell Williams says he abused her trust. She thinks high of him and her expectation was bruised. That's a good synopsis, Shell. Maybe. You know, I don't know. I think these two women, you know, on two different scales. The latter woman is saying that, you know, let me just not misquote. She's saying, where do you find a decent man? I think my advice to this is this. You know, decency is relative to what you call decency, first and foremost, because what one person says is decent to what another one says is decent is two different things. And I think that if you are looking in the same place, if you're doing the same thing over and over again, you are only going to get the same results. And that's what is happening. This is what I see happening. And so in order to get a different result, you've got to do something different, which means cast your net on the other side. If you've been tiling all night, Kellyanne, you'll understand this one. If you've been tiling all night in one area, doing the same thing over and over and over again, you are only going to pick up what's there. But if you turn over to the other side, you might find something a little bit different. And that's my advice. Earlier on in the show, we were talking about nations. Tony brought up All Nations, going to clubs and going to, you know, All Nations gone a long time, you know. I think someone said it's over 20 years. Somebody said, or something like that. So, you know, back in the day, we used to go club and we used to meet people. Now, you know, and then there was a time where you'd go speed dating, you'd go to all these like single events, blah, blah, blah. We know we've been shut down for 2 years near enough, right? So my thing is find a place, start exploring, start asking questions, ask your girlfriends, ask your male friends, you know, where are their single friends? Where do they hang out? What type of things do they like doing? Create a hobby. Find something to do that occupies your time. Occupy until you find him, or him find you, or she finds you. And I think that that's the best advice. I had a conversation today, and someone says, "Oh, you know, well, maybe they could try dating sites of the paid ones, whether it's paid or whether it's non-paid. Paid, you do get more leverage on a paid one, but equally, there are still people out there that are players." So I would just say to just go out there and smile and go to places where you think other people are going to be. And that might be the supermarket. It might be going to the theatre, even though theatre, you're sitting down watching a performance, you know. And if you are going to those places, hang out in the bar, you know, see who's there. Cast your net on the other side. Cast your net in different supermarkets, Facebook user says. Yeah. So we've got Waitrose, Sainsbury's, Tesco's, Aldi, Lidl. We've got a whole Marks and Spencer's, Morrison's. That's 7. So you could literally go to 1 per day, right? And try it. Does my learned, my lovely panel members, I would like you to give a 1 second even, synopsis of tonight's show. We've got 2 ladies. We've spoken about vaccines. We've spoken about quite a few things. What was your takeaway from tonight's show? Anyone can go first. Jump in.
I shop in both Waitrose and Sainsbury's, so feel free to come down to my local.
So Tony's looking a woman that likes to shop in
Waitrose and Sainsbury's.
and Sainsbury's. Okay.
But the
So
toilet roll comes from Asda because they do that coconut toilet roll. It's lovely.
Joking. Jeez.
right. Okay.
So now
And
we
if
know your
you
toilet roll.
shop in Asda for
Yeah,
toilet
man.
roll, you are the right woman for Tony. There you go. Thank you for that, Kellyanne.
I think it's effective communication is what just comes to me. With the first one, she just needs to go and talk to the guy and just go to where you normally would go to enjoy each other's company. And for the latter one, for
I was just
the
reading the comment. I was reading the comment. Go on.
and for the second one, it's make sure your communication is very effective. Yes, make your communication tasteful, but very decent. So yeah, just kind of pick your moments, pick your words. And try not to insult people, and try not to get offended.
Thank you. I like that, Kellyanne. Try not to get offended. Thank you for that, Kellyanne. That's a good word. Michelle.
I think in the first scenario, the general consensus was to tell the lady to go for it. So I wish her luck with that. But in the second scenario, we said we were concerned that the person went for it, or some of us were concerned that the person went for it, even though the lines between when he went for it were blurred. Well, to some people were blurred. To me, it was quite clear it wasn't in his work situation. So, everybody has the right to ask whatever question they want to ask. If you choose to be offended, then it's going to make life a bit difficult for you. Sometimes we have to be a little bit more open. It's not necessarily about you, it's about what the person believes. So we don't need to project whatever it is that they're believing onto ourselves. And like you say, just keep it moving. I'd be kind of flattered if someone asked me for a menage a trois. I might say, hell no. But hey, you know what? You want me to do that? Ask me. I have the right to say no, and I won't be offended in that way. In terms of supermarkets, I've been asked out in a supermarket on 2 occasions. One was Aldi, but hey ho, he made me smile. The other one was when I lived abroad, and the person was a very wealthy sheikh, and it was really quite interesting. And I wasn't dressed up, so you never know what can happen. Everyone has the right to ask. I said yes or no to whoever, and just keep moving and just enjoy the experiences. I have something to look back on and laugh. So that's it.
Thank you, Michelle. Love that. Tina? Hello? Sheena!
Oh, sorry. Was I talking to myself? Sorry, on mute. Yeah.
Like
for the first one, I would say, yes, whilst you communicate with the person, I mean, if he's sort of like cool down off you, just have that conversation, find out if everything's all right first before you tell him how you feel, because it might not be the right time to tell him how you feel. He might have other things going on where he might need a little bit of support, but men don't always say they need that support. So it's about, I don't know, trying to understand the person, body language and so forth. The second one, yeah, I mean, we've all got our opinions on that. I'm just looking at it from the side where there's a woman that likes this woman, this customer. He still crossed the lines in terms of professionalism by contacting her, and she obviously accepted the call because she spoke to him out of the professional boundaries. So therefore, my question is, what conversation did you have? Why that phone call then continued? So it's about how you present things, and maybe what you say as well will show that other person a different vibe to what you think you may not be setting off, if that makes sense. So again, it's about communication and body language. So yeah, but I wish all parties well, and good luck in what decision you take.
Thank you very much. We are nearly at the end of the show. And so I want to first thank the panel members for coming on. I also want to thank those anonymous ladies who have sent their dilemmas in. I hope that you will find something out of what we have discussed tonight. For the first lady, I just think, as everyone else has said, just go for it. You might want to be a little bit cautious as to and find out what's going on with him. Have a conversation, talk to him, feel him out, not literally, but feel him out, and see how the ground lies, as Sheena has said. And then move forward and see if he likes you back. And I wish you all the best and all the success in that. The second lady, I would say to her, I understand that you are annoyed, or I would say insulted, but you can move on from this. There are plenty of fish in the sea. And so don't take this one incident as all men, because not all men are so foolish in their approach. Yes, I said it, so foolish in their approach. Not all men are. There are men out there who will approach you in the right way. And, like I said earlier, cast your net on the other side, go somewhere, get a hobby, do something different. And
tell her to send a picture in. We'll have a look.
You might meet. You might not know. You'll never know who you will meet on the way. So that is my advice to you. And we are at the end of tonight's show. So before we go, I'm just going to remind you that we will be back here next Tuesday between 9 and 11. Also, we will have Des O'Connor, the relationship coach, coming on the show next week. So that should be an interesting show next week. But for now, that is the end of the After Dark show. I want to thank the panel members. Guys, say your good nights.
Good night.
Those
Bye.
of you who are on Facebook, those of you who are on YouTube, thank you for joining us. Do remember to join us again next week, same time, same place. But for now, ciao.
You ready? You got me running, got me running. Take it.